where are you from? That's a common question that gets asked a lot in conversations when you first meet somebody. And it's one I've been asked a lot. It's kind of a dangerous question too, if you think about it. But when I'm asked and I think about, where you're from, where's home? Where do you reside? Where do you originate? Where is your point of origin? And when I think of the flip side of that question, I think about where would you go if you were going home? Is where you're from home? And when I get asked this question, I don't have an answer. I freeze. It perplexes me. Where are you from? It perplexes me. I hit this state of hesitation. And it really throws conversations off because normally someone will be like, hey, where are you from? Well, I'm from the Bronx. And the conversation keeps going and you get to know each other. But I usually answer with something like, well, I'm not from anywhere, or I don't really know where I'm from. And there's a reason to that, because you see, I was born in England, and that's where my dad's from. My mom went over there. She's from the States. As a teenager, met my dad, and they kind of walked hand in hand on a journey for a while. And while that journey came, I came along. About 3 or 4 months into that, they moved to Boston, outside Boston, a little town called Rockville. And from there to a town called Middleborough, which is where my sister joined the journey. And I went to a town called Carver, where my other sister joined the journey. And so that was about 2012. And then we moved to Pennsylvania, Westchester, PA. And I got razzed a good bit when I moved to Westchester, PA too, because I had this Massachusetts accent the whole way. Park the car, wicked, don't be a wicked masshole, all that stuff. And in Westchester, I spent my middle school and high school years there. And if you would ask my sisters where they are from, they would answer Westchester, though I don't have that response. From Westchester, I ended up going to Columbus, Ohio, and kind of pursuing a college education, which really turned out to be more of a social miseducation. And then I came back. And when I came back, my parents weren't in Westchester anymore. They were in Exton. And that feeling's kind of stuck with me, that feeling where I haven't had anywhere to come back to. So from Columbus to instead of going back to Westchester, I didn't go back to Exton, I went to Millersville. And from Millersville, went to Lancaster. From Lancaster, I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico. From there, Reisterstown, Maryland. And then from Reisterstown, Maryland, I went to Hanover. And then I went kind of back towards Lancaster, and then East Pete was in there somewhere for a little bit. And eventually I made my way here to York, and I've been to New York now for 16 years. I think about this, and as long as I've been anywhere, and I'm excited that my children have a place that they, if I ask my children now, where are you from? They would say, I'm from York, Pennsylvania. And I like the fact that I have a place to reside here in New York. And I like the fact that my children would say they're from here. And there's a saying out there, home is where the heart is. And I don't know if I completely agree with it, though. When I start to think about, for me, I still don't necessarily consider York home, but I've learned to discover that I have many homes. I have a home in England. I have a home on the Isle of Wight, where my dad is now. I have a home in Oakland, California, where my sister is. I have a home in Clearwater, Florida, where my mom is. A home in St. Pete, Florida, where my other sister is now. I have a home in Columbus, Ohio, where some dear friends reside. I have a couple other homes in England, some family. I have a couple homes in Tennessee. I have a home in Vermont I've never visited. I have a home in Colorado. A couple other homes in Albuquerque, home in Texas. And I now have quite a few nice homes here in York. And what is comforting to me is I know that if I'm ever feeling sick and I need a home, I can find one. And I hope that the ones that I love realize that if they ever feel homesick, that they can find my door.